So for this pattern, you'll need 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. I used a tonal for color 1 and a variegated for color 2. Both yarns here are from Cesium Yarn. This is the color Fork in the Road, and it's on their Merino Sparkle Sock base, so I love the little bit of shine. And this is Right Frog, this color that I've already caked up. You'll also need to use a 5.5mm Tunisian crochet hook with a cable and a stopper, and you will need a couple of stitch markers to help you get through the trickier parts of the shawl pattern. To begin this pattern, we're going to make a slip knot. Then we're going to go ahead and make a chain of 2. And with that chain of 2, we're going to immediately increase. So normally we would skip the loop or the chain closest to the hook, but we're going to go ahead and work in the back bump and pick up that loop as well as the next loop. And we should have 3 loops on our hook afterwards. I'm going to do a standard return pass, so yarn over, pull through 1, get a little bit more yarn, pull through 2, pull through 2. Then we're going to do an increase in our next row. So immediately we're going to go in for a TKS, so between the front and back vertical bar, and then in the same stitch go in as for a simple stitch. And that is my favorite increase, and it's the increase we're going to be doing along the whole right side of this pattern. So I'm going to go in and do my last Tunisian stitch, and now you'll have 4 loops on your hook. Now we're going to do increases in both stitches, both of the center stitches. We're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to go in for a TKS, yarn over, pull up a loop, simple stitch. Then for the left side increases, we're going to do a simple stitch and then go into the same stitch for a TKS. So basically it's going to be just the reverse of what you were doing before. Last Tunisian stitch, standard return pass. So remember, every single row is going to have 2 increases in it. So until we get to the split, everything is going to increase by 2 stitches. So again, TKS, TSS in the same stitch. Then we're going to actually do our lattice stitch. So you'll see we have 4 stitches left, and in the center 2 stitches, we're going to begin the lattice stitch. The lattice stitch is comprised of 2 parts. We're going to do a TSS 2 together, so we're going to go through both loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then going back into that first stitch only, we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So we are not losing any stitches. We worked into 2 stitches and we came out with 2 stitches. Then we are here at our increase. So this is our TSS, TKS increase. And then we're going to go in just like that. So we're going to do our standard return pass. And like I always tell you, and like what I never do, is make sure you're keeping this side nice and snug so that you have a really nice sharp edge, as opposed to something that's loosey-goosey like how mine looks right now. But I will go back and fix that. Okay, so back to our increase. TKS, TSS, Tunisian knit, Tunisian simple, lattice stitch. So 2 together, then go back into that first one, yarn over and pull up a loop. Again, 1, 2 together, and then go back into the first one, pull up a loop, just like that. Then we're going to do our Tunisian simple stitch, Tunisian knit stitch increase, and then our last Tunisian stitch. And we're going to keep working on this until you reach the stitch count that you should see in the pattern for when you should do the split. So I'm going to work on this some more, and then we're going to do a mini version of the shawl. So I will show you what we're going to do when we get to the point where we need to do the split and how we're going to start incorporating in color 2. Okay, we've reached to a part in this mini shawl where we're going to go ahead and start adding in color 2. So the way that this works is I have put a stitch marker on one of the center 2 stitches. So this is the centermost stitch, and then right next to it is the centermost stitch. We're going to work our pattern as normal, and then when we get to these 2 stitches, we're going to add in color 2. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to work the pattern like we have been. So I'm going to do my increase, And then I'm going to go right into my lattice stitch. So pick up 2 and then go back and pick up 1, just like that. Get a little bit more yarn. Pick up 2 and then pick up 1. Pick up 2 and then pick up 1. We're going to do that one more time, just like that. And now we're going to come to a place where we're going to do a simple stitch, and then we hit our center stitch. We're going to go ahead and put this yarn to the side and just go ahead and go in. Pull up a loop. We're going a knit stitch, and then we're going to do the same thing here, a knit stitch. And then this is a small enough gap where for right now we're going to go ahead and just use our same yarn and just untwist it. Use our same yarn, and then again we've picked up 2, we're going to go ahead and do a simple, just like that, and then we're going to do 2 together, then 1, 2 together, then 1, 2 together, then 1, and then 2 together, and 1, and then we're at our other side increase, and we'll do that, and then we're going to do our return pass. Now, for the return pass, we have to change colors as we go. So let me show you how we're going to do that. We're going to go all the way back. And then we get here, we're just going to drop color 2, pick up color 1, oops. Pick up color 1, go through 1, go through 2, and then again, this is a short enough area that we're just going to carry this color over. Now you will, when you start getting to maybe the next row, you're going to need to have another skein of the green, or what I did is I used the center pull for one side and the outside pull for the other, because you really only need one skein for this whole shawl project. The other thing that you can do is you can also take your skein and divide it in 2 while you're kicking it up. So that is your other option. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do our Tunisian lattice stitch, and then when we get to 2 stitches before where the color changes, we're going to do our simple stitch. Then we'll increase our color change here and increase our color change here, simple stitch, and then keep going. So I'm going to work this again, and then I'll come back and show you how to do the split after I get to a couple more rows. So we reached a point in the shawl where in the pattern it's going to tell you to start working the right and left wings. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and count again the midpoint for the center, and your center section will be much larger, don't worry. This is just a baby one just to show you, and I'm going to go ahead and make my way to that center section. So for this side, it's going to be exactly the same in the green yarn as it has been, so that's going to remain unchanged. So I'm going to do my increase, so TKS, TSS, get a little bit more yarn, and then we're going to start doing our lattice stitch across. So together, then 1, 2 together, then go back and do this first one, and then 2 together, and then 1, 2 together. And when we have 2 stitches left before the color change, we're going to do our TSS just like that. I'm going to drop that. Now I have been carrying over my yarn for the demo, but do not do that in the pattern. You will run out of color 1 for sure, so make sure you have a separate one. So now I'm just gonna knit stitch, pull up that yarn, go ahead and pull up the next one, and we're gonna keep going till we have 2 stitches before the stitch marker. Then we're going to TSS 2 together, and then this one we're going to go in for a knit. That's going to be our last Tunisian stitch. So we had 4 TKS stitches in the row before, and we're going to maintain that 4 going forward. So we're going to do a decrease here, and that's going to create a slant, and that's going to create the wing. So I'm going to show you. We'll do our standard return pass, pull through 1, pull through 2, and we're gonna get a little bit more of this yarn. And then we're gonna go, and then here is where my color change happens. So I'm gonna drop that yarn, pick up color 1, and do my return pass all the way. So I'm gonna do that. I'm going to go back and do the color 1 part again, and then I'm going to show you the color 2 part one more time. Okay, so I'm just doing my simple stitch. I still have 1 left of color 1, but that is going to be where I'm going to be moving over. So I'm going to go into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop for my knit stitch, go again, and I have 3 stitches left. I'm going to TSS 2 together, and then do my last Tunisian stitch just like that. So again, I have the same amount of stitches in color 2 and the same amount of stitches in color 1, and that's going to remain unchanged, and this wing is going to just come up like this. So the numbers of the stitches now will remain constant throughout the whole pattern for each wing. Okay, I've worked a little bit more of this wing so you can kind of get an idea of how that's going to go. Now I'm going to show you how we're going to do the second half. So it's going to be a mirror image of this first half. This is my stitch marker for this stitch, so we're not going to go into there, but in the stitch right next to it, we're going to go in and pick up color 1. Or color 2, sorry. You're picking up color 2 here. Then we're going to do our TSS 2 together because we want this to be at an angle. So we're going to make sure that we have a decrease. Then we're going to go into the next knit stitch, and then we always want to keep our stitch count at 4, so we're going to go in to the next one just like that. So now I have 4, and this one wasn't tight, but the goal is going to be for you guys to make that nice and snug so you have a nice V here. And I'll remove the stitch marker so you can appreciate that V a little bit more. So there you go, there. Then I'm going to go ahead and bring in my color 1 back, and we'll get that. Get a little bit more yarn, and just like we did before, we're going to do, let me get this pulled out. I'm not cutting my yarn so I can use it again later. So here we go. I'm going to do my TSS just like that, and then we're going to go straight into our lattice stitch. We'll do our lattice stitches, and then we're going to do our normal increase at the end just like we were doing before. So 2 together, and then go back and do the first one, 2 together, and then when you have 2 stitches left, remember we decreased here by taking 1 for color 2. So now we're going to go ahead and increase here. We're going to do our TSS and then our TKS. Increase, and then we'll do our standard return pass, going all the way through, just like that. And that's basically the whole pattern. So remember, we picked up a stitch. This will now be our first stitch. That'll always be on the loop. We're going to do a TSS 2 together. Then we're going to increase 1 stitch, so our stitch count always remains the same for color 2. And then we're going to do an increase at the end here after we do our TSS and our lattice stitches, so our green, our color 1 also stays constant. And this is going to make a really nice little V. So keep working on your shawl, follow the pattern, and I'm going to come back and show you what the final piece looks like. So this is what the final pattern looks like. You have these really nice, you have a nice V here that drapes, and then you have these 2 nice wings that lead over your shoulders. For this pattern, what I did is for the last couple rows, I went back to the lattice stitch as just a decorative option for the last 3 stitches of each wing. That's totally optional, but I really like the way that it makes a nice little cut here. But you can see Both wings are the same size. They're super pretty. And I love the fact that there's this really nice, the variegate is on the knit stitch, so it shows the yarn beautifully, and the tonal has this beautiful lattice stitch effect. So I hope you enjoyed this pattern. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Also, please do subscribe. It helps to grow the channel. But thank you and happy crocheting.